Okay, so there's our pretty boot cowl that I built yesterday. And so today I'm gonna go ahead and install the defroster unit. The EX3 of course comes with a defroster on the boot cowl. And there's a piece that is right here. It's a single, fiberglass, carbon fiber, whatever it is, piece here. Later, we're gonna have a piece of scat that's gonna go over here to a control box down here. We'll do that after we paint and everything. But I think it's important to go ahead and put this in right now. And here's the reason. If you remember, we fitted this boot cowl over the front of the fuselage, and we had this fake instrument panel in place so we can be sure and get the boot cowl set on here. Well, it comes apart here in the center. We've only put one rivet that was in the very front right here for now. And so this is still open because we're going to fit it to the final fit when we put it on the real instrument panel after we paint it and get it ready to go. Plus, like this, we can take it apart and paint underneath there too. Even though later, most people will want to come back in here and this will have a matte black enamel paint because this will be the dash, and so we want a non-reflective surgery. So later, after I install the windshield actually, and the windshield is on, and I can see the exact line where the windshield liner is and what's interior, then I just come back and tape and mask everything off, and I just get a can of spray paint enamel, matte black, and I paint all this matte black. So it's not that big a deal, but just because this is not going to be the finished color paint if you're going to do that. But the problem is, when I took it off, before I took it off of here, I put masking tape all the way down the joint, and I had it strips across here holding everything exactly together. I mean, I really didn't want this to move. And another thing you can do, you see how I actually came back in here where they joined. This is that little piece I was talking about that comes down from a left side piece. But you can see I put a blue Sharpie line right down where it was exactly on the airplane, so I can always go back and match it up exactly where these two panels need to be as far as in and out to go back and fit on the original airplane the way we did it. So what I'm going to do, the problem is later when you paint it, all this has got to come off, right? I mean, you can't paint it with masking tape on it, or this is a Cleco clamp. I don't know if you've seen those. I bought some of these, but I never really use them much. But it's just a little clamp that you can, use with your Cleco tool. Just squeeze it and it comes apart, and you can clamp it back together. So I'm just going to hold it like that till I paint it and take it off anyway. So in any case, this is the defroster unit. It's a one-piece, again, it's a one-piece composite thing that Cub Crafters just make. It already has 3 nut plates that are glued on, 2 on one side and 1 on the other. And there's a screen right here that goes in between them, so don't forget to put the screen on. This information is on, looks like page 217 of the manual, of the fuselage manual, and there's no discussion on how to do it, so there's nothing in there at all. I have my forum post, which will also goes over it. Okay, but anyway, so what I do is I take the screens, and the screens even have the holes already pre-made in the screens, the metal screens, for these screws to go through, but they only fit one way. So find out one of the screens, flip it one way or the other, and you'll find that the holes will line up one way or the other. Okay, so then what I do is I take the screen and I put them on here, and you can see I still got some tape over here I'm going to take off. But I just kind of put a little tape out of the way on the sides to hold the screens in place so they're lined up with the screw holes that are in here. Okay, as you can see, you can't see any of that tape. I just put them on the edges out of the way because that screen is this big. So you got plenty of room here that you'll never see that tape if you don't take it out. Anyways, tape the screens in place. And then I take some big piece of masking tape and I just put it across both sides of this first. And then I maneuver it up and down. I just look in here to get my distances right for my screws, make sure everything's looking good. My screws are going to be on the outside of the vents. And then I secure that tape down, okay, just to hold it in place. Then I take a number 40 drill bit, and you can go right through the nut plate and match drill right through to here. Put a number 40 Cleco, silver Cleco in, do the other one, so forth. So then go to the other side and do it. And then you come back and you drill it out with number 21 drill bit to widen it out, and then you can install it. Go ahead and install the screws into the nut plates. Before you tighten them up all the way, you can pull your tape out, which I forgot to do on this one piece of tape, but you can then go back in and pull that tape out if you want, just to get that tape, you know, out of the way there. And so now what you've done is that has locked it into the position, you know, that, and I did that before I removed all my tape. I had all my tape. I had a big piece of tape down here and over the backside. I had straps of tape across here, and I had the clamp as it came off, right off of the airplane. So I know it's going to go right back on exactly the same. Now I've got that in there, and you see that locks these two pieces together. That's critical. So that if you don't do that and you come back and you install this defroster unit, locking both sides in, and this is moved any, you go back to put it on the plane and you'll get buckling in here as you try to spread it apart or bring it together to fit over the instrument panel right here. So make sure it's locked in exactly the way you had it fitted to the airplane. Then put the fuse, and then go ahead and put that on at this point. And then you really don't have to worry about it. I've just got this clamp on it. You could use a piece of tape or whatever just to kind of keep it from flopping around. But when you paint it, you're going to pull this apart and spray some paint up underneath there anyway. Even though you're going to paint it black later, it doesn't really matter. So that's pretty much the easiest way to do that and the best time to do it right now.